Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jake. Today I'll be interviewing Megan. She is a writer, and she currently have 3 books, which is the Protected by the Boss, and also the Rehabilitated, 1 and 2, part 1 and 2. So, Megan, would you like to further introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Megan Darragh. I'm a self-published author. So my books are, the first one I wrote was The Rehabilitated, then the second one is Protected by the Boss, and the third is a sequel to The Rehabilitated, and it's called Second Outbreak. So, I'm an author, basically.
Alright. So, I read some review or some introduction about your book. The Rehabilitated is basically a book that saying that we are living in a zombie world, and then they're actually curing the zombie instead of killing them, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So how's the inspiration come? Like, how do you have the idea to actually write those kind of book?
Well, for The Rehabilitated, I watch a lot of zombie shows and stuff, and most of the ones I watched were more about survival. So I thought it would be interesting to look into, how the zombies are cured and how society comes back from that.
So that's the inspiration. But normally when we watch the zombie movies or we watch something that's related to zombie, it's always like human destroying zombie, human try to kill the zombie. Yeah, but then why is it curing them instead of killing them? Where? Yeah.
I think because in real life, I think scientists and doctors and stuff would be looking for a cure. So I tried to make it more realistic. I suppose I just think, I like to be optimistic and think that we could find a cure if there was ever a zombie apocalypse. And that, scientists would try and get the military to capture the zombies and put them in a lab so that we could test vaccines, or not vaccines, serums and stuff on them. And then cure the zombies and get, life back to normal. And I just thought it would be an interesting idea to explore.
Yeah. I mean, if you think back, for example, the COVID is actually turn people into a zombie. Then I think the government will do what they do right now. Close the country. Yeah, and then those who've been infected might be closed out. So I kind of understand what you mean. The government will try to do whatever they can before. If let's say it can't be controlled, then it will be another story, right? Yeah. So the book itself, the story itself is also rated as romance. So would you like to share some of the romantic part of it?
So there's the first zombie who is cured. He is called Murray. The Isabella, who is the guard when he's being in the military, and she looks after the people there, and she was taking a zombie to be cured, loads of the cures have failed and stuff, and then the zombie, one of them gets cured, and because I don't know his name, she calls him Murray, and then she has to guard over him, and that is the relationship. It's those two, and how it develops from friendship to a romantic relationship.
Did you watch a movie called Warm Bodies?
Yes, I seen it.
Yeah.
Years ago.
So of course the book is different. In Warm Bodies, the story is basically the main character. She actually fall in love with the zombie. At the same time, the zombie actually fall in love with her. But then for your book, it's more into how the main character actually fall in love with the zombie. Am I right? And then how she actually protect all the zombies. Am I right?
Yeah. Whereas in my book, there's people who are against the cure, and at one point the Murray gets like attacked, and so she has to like save him, and that's someone who hates zombies, who's actually in the military. And then there's like there's a group of people who are like completely against the cure, and they like, there's a one point where there's like riots and stuff, and she has to, with her friends, deal with all these things, like these people who are like pretty crazy, so she has to like deal with them.
Yeah, I understand. But when you think about, if let's say that's happening now in real life, do you think that people are actually fully against them? Because it's, well, you can see, if someone turn into a zombie, there might be something that there might be someone that close with you. So do you think that in real life, if a zombie apocalypse happens, people actually react the same way?
Possibly. I mean, there are like crazy people out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to hope that everyone would like want the cure, but you never know, because like, say if there's someone and the whole family was killed by zombies, and then, you know, they just have like a resentment against zombies, I think that could possibly happen. But I mean, I would hope it wouldn't, but you know.
Yeah.
I think there would be people who wouldn't want to and stuff.
Yeah, if zombie apocalypse really happens, so what will you do actually? Because you are the author of the book. Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea. Maybe try and like stay in my house. I don't know. I mean, one plan I did think was getting a boat, but I don't like own one. But I think that would be a pretty good idea. Get a boat and like either stay on the sea or go and find like a really small island. Actually, Rathlin Island is quite small. It's like off of Northern Ireland, so I don't know. Maybe go there or something.
Yeah, but the next thing will be the supply, right? The food, drinks. Yeah, then all that will come into, you know, another challenge, right?
Yeah, I know.
Alright, so other than the zombie book, another one is, which is the romance book, Protected by the Boss, which is a Mabea romance book. So how do you get the inspiration to actually write that book?
So last summer, I think it was, I started watching like these classic mafia movies like Casino, Goodfellas. I started watching The Sopranos as well, and I'd heard that mafia romance was like a reasonably popular genre. So that was like where that kind of idea came from.
Alright, so do you want to briefly introduce the book?
So it's about Roisin. She is from Ireland and she goes to America when she's 19. The book is set a year like into her being it's like set into a year after she's been in America. Sorry, I couldn't just like explain that there. And she has this boyfriend called Mateo, but he's not very nice. And like in the first chapter, she's eating cake at a wedding, and he's telling her, "Oh, don't eat too much because I don't want you getting fat." And then he's like kind of abusive towards her when she starts, you know, spending more time with Tony, who is the mafia boss, and he's like really friendly to her. And then it's like how she leaves him and gets together with Tony.
Okay. So it's the whole process basically, you know, from hate to love, I would say. So coming back, right? After the book, you have the second part of the Rehabilitated. So So the second part will be focused more in?
Well, it is a new strain of like the same virus, and this time Isabella is the one who gets bitten and turns into a zombie, and she has amnesia, so she's like forgotten the last 5 years of her life. So it's set 5 years after the first book, and also she's like dating someone new, and you know, it's kind of about how she gets back together with Justin, who is like Murray from the previous book, and that's kind of what that's about, and how like she deals with more trauma this time, like with there's 2 character deaths and she has to like deal with that.
So it will be a turnaround for them for her, right? It's like she protected them, then now what's now, and the others are going to protect her, or and then it's a big impact, or big challenges she'll be facing, right?
Yeah.
So throughout the process of writing all these novel or all these books, what you as a writer always do, because people will say that people write books, they only sit in front of a computer, and then how you actually write out the story plot, and then how you actually plan for the book.
So with my planning, what I do is, I have like the general idea, I'll write that down first, and then from that I'll like plan out the chapters. So like chapter 1, I'll use like the rehabilitated as an example. I would do it like chapter 1, they test cures on zombies, they all fail. Chapter 2, a zombie like becomes more calm, and they think this could be the possible cure, they're all hopeful. And then like chapter 3, the zombie starts to talk, stuff like that. That'll be how I plan it, like very brief, and I just do that until it's like finished. But then sometimes I'll add like a scene or 2, or sometimes I'll remove something like as I'm writing along. So that's like how I plan it, and then I write like during the night on my phone, because that's like the most comfortable. So I like write from sometimes 12 midnight to 7 in the morning, like on and off. It just depends what time I start writing at. Like sometimes I started writing at 3, been finished at around 4 or 5. Sometimes I start writing at 4 and be finished around 7. It just depends on like how much I procrastinated, really.
Yeah, is writing your main job, or you have another job?
I'm a part-time youth worker, so I do that like two evenings a week.
All right. So, but then will be writing will be something that you would like to approach in the near future, like full time doing it, right?
Yeah, that's like my dream.
Yeah. So as you mentioned, you need to plan out like what chapter 1 will be the zombie they are not healing, and then the chapter 2 will be the zombie is more calm. So basically you plan out the whole book, the whole chapter 1 for example, then you start writing on it, right? And then as you mentioned, the time for you to write is very depending. It's depending on how did the time did you have any idea, right? So how long it takes to actually for you to write a whole book like that?
Well, the first book, The Rehabilitated, only took me 4 months like to finish the first draft, but I think it took me like something like 6 months or something to edit. I started it last March and it was finished the end of January this year. And then Protected by the Boss, I started that in June. I finished first draft in December, so it took like 6 months because I had been editing The Rehabilitated at the same time. And then I think like after I'd finished like published The Rehabilitated, I started like focusing the editing on Protected by the Boss, and that was finished the end of February. And then the second Outbreak, I started that in February I think, and then finished it the end of I started June, sorry, I finished that on like the 6th of June. So that took about 4 months as well.
Alright. So it only takes like 6 months basically for the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it's usually not longer than that.
Yeah. So are you planning to actually write something that is more, going more than what you've been writing right now? For example, because as I know that your book is only 200 over page, right? Yeah, are you planning to actually do something that is more than that currently?
I don't know. You see, like when I'm writing, it just depends how long it'll be. Like the first book was 87,000 words, but I edited down to 83,000. And then The Protected by a Boss is 57,000. And the second Outbreak is, I think, 61 or 62,000. It really just depends, like, as I'm writing, because I don't have like a word count thing in mind, really. I mean, I try and aim for around 50 or 60,000. Sometimes it will be more, sometimes it will be less. It really just depends. Because I don't want to be like overwriting, if you know what I mean. Like, just adding in stuff to make it like whatever 90,000 words. So just whatever it needs, really.
All right. So the book, will it be a series of books, or it will just be like something that you thought of, oh, I have some idea for this book, I have some idea for that book, because now you already have the part 1 and part 2 for Rehabilitated. So will it be a series that you will continue on, or you will actually move on to another book?
Well, I have a third plan for the Rehabilitated, but I won't be writing that until I finish the sequel to Protected by the Boss. After that, I'll just have to see with sales and stuff, because like I have a few in mind, but I might not write them if it doesn't go well. But I'll definitely be writing those 3. Well, no, the third, because the first 2 have already been written. And then after that, I'll just have to wait and see if there's like interest. I'll maybe write a few more. If there's not, I'll just leave it as those 3. But yeah.
Alright. So which means it's actually not like planned. You don't actually plan like you want to write a series of it. It's more like when you have the inspiration, when you have the idea, then you will just continue writing on it, right?
Well, like when I was writing the Rehabilitated, I think a few days into writing it, I like got the idea for the sequel. And then with the third one, I had like a different third one planned. But then like the last few chapters, like the third one just came to me. So I wrote that down. And the Protected by a Boss, it has been planned out as well. Like as I'm writing, I normally get like more ideas as more characters enter and stuff like that.
Alright. It's basically, as you say, it's basically like when you're in the process of your writing, you actually have the idea, then you actually plan for it, right? So, yeah. So, after you write the book, after you have the final product, you say, so the next step will be the publisher, right? So, as you mentioned, you are an individual writer. So how do you actually get the publisher, or you didn't actually get publisher for that?
So what I did was last year I'd found out about like self-publishing and Amazon. So it's like Amazon KDP that I would use. So I used my Amazon account to make the Kindle direct publishing account, and then what I did was once I got the cover and all, I had to get that done. And the Word document, I uploaded those 2 and pressed publish, and it was like up within a few hours.
So it's basically one-man show, right?
Kind of. I mean, I do get help with stuff like my first cover, my friend helped, and like I get help with editing, and like I get feedback from readers as well, which helps.
Alright. But then, if that's the case, is there any cost of it? Like, did you print any hard copy of it, or do they involve any copyright charges or something like that?
Not copyright, but with the paperback, I wanted to order proof copies to make sure it all looked okay, and I think that cost around £6. So really, mainly what I spent on is just ordering proof copies to make sure that the paperback looks alright. The first one was like a complete disaster, so I'm glad that they have that system.
So are you actually looking forward to actually looking for agency? Because in our country is very different, in Malaysia it's basically people actually interested with your book, then the publisher actually look for you to ask you, would you like to actually publish the book under our company, or yeah. So then in Northern Ireland, what will be the process to actually get a publisher, or yeah?
I think you have to get an agent. I'm not 100% sure, but like you send your manuscript to agents, and then I think they send it out to publishers. Maybe I'm not 100% sure because I haven't really looked into traditional publishing because it didn't really interest me. Like I found there were a lot more things with self-publishing that would like suit me, like the full control, and I can publish when I want, which is like a lot faster. So I'm not really interested in traditional publishing at all.
All right. Oh, so you're saying that you're kindly more into self publishing, am I right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but then will that actually I'm not sure. So what's the return of the all the hard work? Is it really you can survive with the money that you got from Amazon, or is it something that is more into just a fun hobby for you currently?
Well, I'm hoping to like do it full time in the future, but at the moment, like it wouldn't be anywhere near enough to live off of. It's like I think in total I've made around like 200, like over 200. But no, it's definitely like not enough to live off of, unfortunately. But I'm hoping with like more book releases, I'll earn more, and then I could like have it as my like full time job and not have to get like a different full time job. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, right? But then, especially currently, books is something that I would say I'm not sure about in Ireland, but then in Malaysia we don't really read books. People actually, I mean, books is something that start to get, not much people get into it. But are you planning to actually have something like instead of writing a book, maybe you can just turn it into a series of YouTube video or something like that?
I have no idea how to do that. I mean, it would be pretty interesting, but I wouldn't know how to do that, and I don't know that I would, make any money off of that, or whether like that would be something that would be popular or not. I don't know if people would like listen to me reading books or something. I don't know.
Yeah, audiobook would be a good thing to do, right? Maybe you can, But then what do you think about the situation or the things that people actually not read book that much? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's quite unfortunate, but like my mum still reads, my dad reads, my sister reads, and a few of my friends read books a lot as well, and I would read books a lot. So I think there are still a lot of people who would read, but maybe there aren't as many as there used to be. I don't know, because you have Netflix, TV shows, movies, all that nowadays. Whereas that in the way back, you wouldn't even have TVs and stuff, so you could only read, and that was like the only form of like that sort of entertainment. So maybe that's why like reading has become less, and social media as well.
So, when is the interest of actually writing started? In your life, is it when you're a child, you start reading, then you have the interest of it, or is something that you start develop during your adult life?
So like as a kid, my mom would read to me a lot, and I would like read books in school a lot. And like I remember, I tried to finish my work quickly so I could get to reading. And there was this boy who would like tell the teacher that I was trying to read when I should have been had his work, and that like really annoyed me. So I think from like reading as a kid, that made me like really want to be an author. And then I have been writing for fun, I think, from 2016 maybe. And then like last year I started seriously writing because the lockdown gave me more time, and I just thought, right, we're going to write a book, we're going to publish, because that was like a dream to be like a published author and all that.
All right. So when you first launched your first book, Is it something that you do you feel like comfortable with the launching? Like people actually read your books. Like how do you feel actually?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like, that's what I want. I want loads of people like reading my book and enjoying it. I suppose it helped that I like had published it for free online before, and I got like reasonably good feedback about it. As well as that, when I had been like writing for fun, I had been like publishing online on these sites. So I suppose that like helped me to feel like more confident. Although the only thing I had stress with was like when I got bad reviews. That I found that quite stressful, and that sometimes I would like have nightmares that I got like a 1-star review. So it was a wee bit stressful, but I mean that was the worst thing with the publishing, was like the bad reviews. But other than that, it's been really good.
Yeah, the bad review, like you mentioned, is really something that it will affect your mood. But then, so far, how do you think, like how you actually prepare for bad review? Because every good book or good videos, they will be people criticizing it, right? So are you taking it okay right now, or how are you taking it?
I mean, I think bad reviews are always hard to deal with. But I kind of like get over them by looking at other good books, like my favorite books, and looking at those bad reviews. I find that really helps, because then it makes me realize, not everyone's going to like what I've written, and that's okay. As well as that, it just helps to like rant about it, like with my mom or my dad and friends and stuff. I find like complaining about it really helps.
Yeah. I mean, you learn from your mistake, I would say, right? Yeah. So in Ireland, let's talk something that is out of the book. In Ireland, currently is still like our country is still in the lockdown situation. So in your country, how is it for the whole COVID situation right now?
Better, like we're pretty much out of lockdown. I think it's just social distancing and masks at the moment, hand sanitizing, all that. Like the cinemas are open again, restaurants are open, so it's been going really well. And I got my vaccine on Wednesday, so my arm's still a bit sore, but I think that's good that like most of the people I know have got their vaccines now, like my parents. They got their vaccines, some of my friends as well. Some of the people I work with. So I think that's like really good that we're all getting the vaccine at the moment, and that everything is like kind of returning to the way it used to be, because that's like the dream.
Yeah.
How is it with you?
So your country, what vaccine your country actually bring in?
What, sorry?
What vaccine, the brand your country actually bring in for Ireland?
Sorry, I can't understand what you're saying, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, what brand of vaccine that Ireland actually introduced?
Oh!
Yeah.
We have the Pfizer and we have the AstraZeneca. And I think there may be some of the Moderna. I got the Pfizer, and so did my parents. I think a lot of people like my age are wanting to get the Pfizer because the whole blood clot thing with the AstraZeneca.
Yeah, I mean, AZAC is basically the whole blood clot is basically if you have the high blood pressure, or you have some health issue with yourself, then it will cause it. But then I think for normal people it will be okay. Yeah.
Maybe.
But then is it enough? The supplement, is it enough in your country?
I think so. I mean, like, you just have to book like to get the vaccine, and then you go and get it. I haven't heard anything about a shortage of supplies or something like that.
All right. Yeah, it's quite interesting, because I ask this because I just want to see how other countries actually do it. So your government actually doing it, like, do they create an application or something that actually notify you guys to get the vaccine, or is it something that you need to book the vaccine in the hospital?
Well, my parents were actually like waiting on a letter to tell them to go, but they just had to like do it online, and I don't think they had realised this for a while. and I found out that I could go and get my vaccine like from the news, and then we booked it online, and so I've just been going off the news really.
All right. Yeah, it's quite. How long did you wait for the vaccine after you register for it?
Like a week, I think. See, I got to pick like the day, and they were like ones for, I think they might have been Monday, Tuesday, whatever. So I just picked like Wednesday because that was like when I was the most free and stuff.
Oh, that fast. Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, in many countries, people are waiting, for months. For example, in our country, Malaysia, have been registered in last year, and then until now, there are still no update on that. Yeah, probably because of the supply, is far, from US to Malaysia and from China to Malaysia. Yeah, but then, yeah, it's quite fast if you can get it in 1 week or 1 month. Yeah, it's quite fast, you see. So do the whole pandemic actually affected you on your writings, and also what's the situation in your country, during the pandemic itself?
I mean, I think it like really got me to start writing properly. It really gave me like the push to publish and stuff. Because I had like not left my job. I had taken a break from my job because my parents are like in their 60s, and I did not want them getting COVID. So I took a break from my job until like June. I was like working in retail. And that was when I decided to start writing, because I was like, maybe I can make a bit of money from this, and then that could like help when I'm not in a job. So that like really gave me the push to actually start writing and to publish. And there was a lockdown in March, and I think that lasted until like maybe June or July or something. That was when it started easing. And then we went into a second lockdown, and that kind of ended around April or so of this year. And now it's like eased a lot. I think we've done the best out of like all the UK countries. Like England has been the worst for amount of cases and stuff. Northern Ireland I think it's had the least amount of cases out of like Scotland, England, Wales.
Yeah. So during the lockdown itself in Ireland, what's the situation actually? Like, is it everyone need to stay at home, and only the essential service will be available? Is it something like that?
Yeah, we were like pretty much everywhere was closed, like restaurants, closed shops. It was only really like essential shops, like Tesco's, Asda, places like that sold food and stuff. They were like the only shops open. We were told we were only allowed to go out to exercise or go for shopping, or like if there's some emergency you can go to the hospital or whatever. So I was basically just in my house and only like drove my own down to the shop. That was like all that happened with me. So like we weren't allowed to go out and meet other people, and like the rules were just so confusing. It was like they were ridiculous when we were like coming out of the lockdown. It was like, oh, you're not allowed to have your grandparents at the house. You're only allowed one at a time, but you're allowed to go out and meet them at the park. It was like confusing stuff like that, and I was like, what?
But yeah, if let's say you're living with your grandparents, then how you can actually how did you actually follow the rules? I'm not. Yeah.
Well, like all my grandparents are dead, unfortunately. So I didn't have like issues with that. I didn't go out and see friends. I didn't meet family. I live with my parents. So that's fine. No issues with like visiting them or anything. Yeah. So I basically just stayed in the house with them and only really went out to see friends when the lockdown had like eased and stuff.
Yeah. It's quite an interesting time, you see. And of course, the work from home time, or the available time that we have during the whole COVID or the whole lockdown is the best time where we look for something that that we might be interested in, or we actually start to do something that we're interested in, right? Yeah, but then but then at the same time, the whole COVID situation actually, uh, make us into a different, really, bring us to a different time, and also we never
Yeah.
expected this, right?
No.
Yeah. So before the COVID itself, do you have any other dream that you would like to approach, but then during COVID it kind of like ruined the whole plan for that?
I mean, my only dreams are, well, they were like get a job working with kids, which like now I have. I mean, I did like, there was a delay starting my job because I think I got it in like, was it October? I think I got the job in October, but couldn't actually start until like November. So that kind of like delayed that. I was also meant to be going to see a play in England with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. That has been like cancelled / postponed because of COVID, which is a nightmare. Then my other dreams, well, before COVID, get married and have kids, which have not come true yet, but hopefully someday.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of ruined everyone I plan. Yeah. So
Definitely.
yeah. So for now, yeah. Just a personal question. In Ireland actually separate into two part, right? So for Northern Ireland, is it under the UK, or is it under the
Yeah.
Europe? It's under
Yeah,
the UK.
well, yeah, it's in the UK.
Then
It's part.
Yeah, but then what's the difference, between the two part of Ireland?
Well, different accents, I suppose. Then Ireland, the south uses like the euro, whereas because we were with UK, we use the pound. I don't think they have free healthcare down south, but we do because we are like with the NHS. I don't really know what other differences there are. I'm sure there are. Well, I suppose actually we have like the first minister and the second minister, so it's like one from the DUP, one from Sinn Féin, I think. And then, whereas down south, I think they only have like one prime minister thing, and it's like a different word. It's like an Irish word, which I can't remember at the moment. And then, like the UK, obviously they have like the prime minister as well, but we're a bit different because of our situation with like the past, with the troubles and all that.
Yeah. What's the whole? Well, I heard that there are some cases that Ireland actually there are some rebellions, or there are some wars, right, happening.
I don't think there's any wars, no. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, there are sometimes like tensions between the Catholics and Protestants within Northern Ireland, and there were like riots in Belfast like a month ago or so, because of, like, Brexit and all this other stuff.
All right. Yeah. It's kind of, yeah. But then how actually Ireland separated from both?
I think it was like many years ago. I think I did it in history like ages ago, but I think it was something like England invaded and Northern Ireland decided to stay with England, or it was something like that anyway. I haven't done that part of history in years, so I can't exactly remember, but it happened like hundreds of years ago, I think.
All right. But then because like as we know, like for example, the North Korean and South Korean, they actually have some relative, the South Korean families actually live in the North Korean, and then there are some challenges. Of course, it's a communist country and a social country. So in Ireland, is there any case like that? People actually have families live in the North Ireland and then in the mainland Ireland, something like that.
I'm sure there are some who have like some in the north, some in the south. Like I would have friends in Dublin in the south of Ireland. They're like my mum's friends. So that's like how I know them. So I mean, I think it would be normal if there were like people living in Northern Ireland and having family in the south, or people in the south having family in the north, because you know you can move relatively easily, I would think,
Yeah, just
between the
drive
two
there.
countries. Yeah.
Yeah, but then for like what you say, the accent itself, like if we see like people that is very famous, like Conor McGregor, in Ireland, so he still have the accent. It's like very strong accent, but then he's from Dublin, right, which is the mainland Ireland, right?
Oh, I don't know where he's from.
Yeah,
I
think
don't.
he's from Dublin, which is the mainland Ireland, right?
It's the south, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see. It's very different compared to another country. But then the culture that you guys are you guys still following the culture, or like you have you still practicing what Irish practice in UK?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure some people are like, they have similar wee things. Yeah.
But then for your family, is it something that you guys still practice, the island cooking, or the heritage itself?
Well, we would like have Irish stew sometimes, or like potato bread. Those are like Irish foods, I think. So we would still eat like some Southern Irish foods. But like the thing is, because we're like Northern Ireland, we're like a kind of like a mixture between the UK, England, places like that, and like the south of Ireland. So there'd be food that I would eat that I wouldn't know like where it's actually from, if you know what I mean. But I wouldn't know if it's from the UK or if it's from Ireland. But yeah.
Yeah, it's quite unique, because in our country there are actually three religion, and then three ethnic. So basically we have Malay, Indian, and Chinese. So yeah, basically we kind of practice some of the practices in from where we are from, about 100 years ago. Our great grandfather, they actually moved to Malaysia. So yeah, and then at the same time we also adapt with the local culture. For example, we know how to speak each other language, and then we actually the cooking style actually evolve. We mix others ethnic food ideas into our own food. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see how different country, different ethnic actually evolve during time, right? So in the place that you are in Ireland, so as you mentioned, there are actually two ministers, right? But then will the system, or is there any other special treatment for the Irish people in UK, or you guys will actually been fall into the same system, and then government by the same minister, something like that?
Well, like some of the laws would be done by like our ministers and stuff, and then others would be like done by like the Prime Minister in the UK. Like the abortion law and gay marriage, see, our government for years, it was like non-existent pretty much, because they couldn't agree on stuff. I can't even remember what it was. And the UK like put those into effect, like England changed those laws for us, which I think is great. And they like haven't been able to undo that, thankfully. Because if that hadn't happened, like Northern Ireland would probably not have voted for that for like years, because like most of the people in our like Stormont thing, I think most of them, like a lot of them, are pretty backwards, too religious, stuck in their ways, and they don't want like abortion or gay marriage, which I think is very sad, because we need to keep moving forward and not like stay with certain traditions.
Yeah. So there are actually two, like I mentioned, there are actually two government body, right? So for you, is it something like the state itself is governed by the ministry, or is it the for Irish ethnic, there will be one minister that actually take care of it?
We have like two ministers because of the whole Protestant Catholic thing. So there's the first minister who is from the DUP, and then the second minister who is Sinn Féin, which is like the DUP is like the more Protestant Unionist side, and the Sinn Féin is like the more Catholic nationalist side. But then there's other parties like Alliance, the Green Party. They just, they don't get as many votes, so they're not the ones who are like in power. So it's like these two opposing political parties that are like, they have to agree on things and stuff. And it's just not ideal because, I think like sometimes they can be like, having big disagreements, and I just don't think that's helpful,
So, as we all know, previously before Boris, there are another, the previous Prime Minister, what's his name? I've forgotten.
David Cameron.
Sorry?
David Cameron.
Everett Cameron. Alright.
David Cameron, and then there was Theresa May, and then Boris Johnson, I think.
Yeah, but then, like, people always joke about, Boris is basically the second Donald Trump in UK, right? So
yeah, they do.
Yeah, so is it any different, between both prime minister in your country?
In Northern Ireland?
Yeah, do it affect, the changes of, from him to Boris? Is it any effect on Ireland or in UK itself?
I'm not really sure. Like the England and places like that country that I kind of feel they don't really care about Northern Ireland sometimes, and we kind of get like excluded in decisions, if you know what I mean. Like we wouldn't have any say pretty much in the English politics, really. Like we don't even get to vote on the English Prime Minister or anything like that.
How? But you are in the UK, right? But how you so you, for Irish people, you can't vote for the English Prime Minister?
Well,
I mean, so
we only vote for our like own country, basically. We only vote for Northern Ireland, and that's like the only thing we get a say in, really.
But then you are falling into the same UK law.
Yeah.
And alright, that's weird. So do you recognize the Queen as your?
Yes,
as your
we know who the Queen is.
You did.
Yeah,
you did.
I know.
So your country do recognize the Queen Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
But then that's weird.
I know, it's so confusing.
Yeah, it's so confusing because I thought like because you are in one country, right? UK and Ireland should be in one country, so you guys should you guys should have the power to actually choose the Prime Minister, right? But then
I know, the idea.
Yeah, but then for you guys, as you mentioned, it's more into you only choose the minister, right? Yeah.
I mean, we did get to vote on like Brexit, thankfully. I was too young at the time though, but like my parents' vote would stay. I'm like against Brexit, but it's already happened. Can't do anything about it now.
But then, what do you think about the Brexit? Because as we know that currently UK pound is the most valuable money in the world, right? It's the most expensive one. So exiting the Europe, of course, it will bring some economic impact. But then at the same time, year by year, UK kind of like spend a lot of money in the whole European law, something like that. So what do you think about the whole situation? What's your point of view of that?
See, I think most people voted to leave to do with racism because they didn't want like immigrants coming into the country, and they want like tighter control on that, which I completely disagree with. Like I would rather have loads of people from other countries coming in and getting to know about different cultures, because I think it's great to have like diversity within countries, I think. And I feel like loads of people voted to leave like because of immigration and all that, which I think is ridiculous. And that's like why I was like not wanting to leave the EU and stuff. I just don't see why you would leave when you've been with them for years. I don't like change, so I wanted to stay mainly for like those reasons, and as well as it makes trading more difficult, and like the whole border thing with Northern Ireland. We're like, I don't know what the situation is with that now, but we're worried that it like could become more strict because of Brexit and stuff like that.
Yeah, it definitely will. It's basically a country inside a container, a continent, right? Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of weird, But then, of course, yeah, different people have different point of view, and then the majority will always win. That's the case, right? So yeah. So yeah, it's quite interesting to hear what you say and what happening there. So, all right. So, all right. Just go back to the professional side. All right. So, for you, is there any other future plan, like other than the third part of the third series of your book? Is there any other plan for you in your book writing or in your professional life?
So at the moment, my plans for writing are right now I'm working on the Protected by the Boss sequel. After that, I'm going to have a tiny little break and write another book, which is going to be a prison romance. And then I will go back to the third rehabilitated book, and probably then after that, the next Protected by the Boss book. And then after that, I'm not sure.
Right. So currently it's like one zombie and one mafia. Is there any other genre you would like to actually move into?
I'd really like to write sci-fi and fantasy. They're like two on my list. Possibly maybe Mystery of Lim could be quite difficult to pull off. But those are like a few genres that I would love to write and try out.
Sci-fi, I think you can actually write something related to zombie, to alien, because the whole US thing, right? They are saying that they discover the aliens, something like that. Yeah, I think that's the good approach, maybe.
I think it's really interesting. I write something with aliens in it, because there's a lot of media with evil aliens, and I want to show nice aliens because I think that'd be more interesting. There's not many movies like E.T. or Cocoon. Most of the movies you would see would be Alien, the movie Alien, or just they have bad aliens an awful lot, and I'd much rather have good aliens for a change.
Yeah, but then in your mind, what's the image of alien for you? Is it something like big head, big eye, small body? Is that the image of alien for you?
I mean, it just depends really, because my imagination can come up with a lot of things. The grey aliens, there's those. There's the aliens that everyone talks about, like lizards and all those. So I mean, I could write about those, or I could make up my own alien species.
Star Wars type.
Yeah, no, they're cool. But yeah, I would just have to see what I have in the idea. I have tons of ideas written down, then some of them have different aliens, and then some of them have ones that people would know of.
But then, in Ireland, is it normal that you guys have all these kind of stories, like zombie stories or the alien stories? Is something that famous in your country?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, people would know of Walking Dead, they would know of E.T., they would know of Alien, they would know of all those sorts of things.
All right. Yeah, it's quite cool. Yeah. Before I end, just one more question. So, like what you say, you are currently planning for the third series and also the alien book. As I mentioned, probably it's a good idea for you to actually convert the books into audiobooks or any YouTube video. So if there's a chance for you, will you actually make it into a movie or something like that? Do you have any plan for that?
I mean, I think it'd be amazing to get my books made into a TV series or movie or video game or whatever, but I have no idea how I would go about that. I mean, if someone is a movie producer or whatever, get in contact with me and make it into a movie for me.
But in Ireland, is it something that in our country we basically can actually submit the script to the TV station, and then based on their I mean, if you like it, they will actually make it in a movie. In Ireland, is it something that the whole process is something like that, or there will be more a tedious process, or you're not sure for that?
I'm not really sure. I think you're maybe supposed to like write a movie script and then try and sell it, but I have no idea how to go about that. I mean, we do make stuff here, like Game of Thrones was filmed over here and stuff. There are like a few movies that will be filmed over here, and I was like an extra in a TV series, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, Game of Thrones is it's nice, and at the same time, the whole scenery in Ireland is very nice, right? Yeah. One thing, the different like in UK is always raining, it's very greyish. But then in Ireland it's more into like you actually get the sunshine, right? It's not like UK, right?
I think they're both the same. Like I went to England in 2017, and when I was there, it was like roasting hot. I was like dying of the heat going around the zoo and stuff. Here it's been like really sunny recently. I like went to the beach yesterday with my friend, which was great. I mean, it just depends really, because sometimes you get summers where it's like raining most of the time. In recent years, it's been pretty sunny, which has been nice.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, you'll still get the odd day where it'll rain though.
All right. Yeah, quite interesting. All right. So, yeah, I think we'll just end it here. So, very thank you to you for
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, coming to this podcast. So,
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to actually see your next publish. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. All the best to you.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.